Hey everybody, Neil Thompson, founder of Teach the Geek here. I work with technical professionals so they can present more effectively, especially in front of non-technical audiences. And you can learn more about that at teachthegeek.com. Again, that's teachthegeek.com. And always remember to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Every little bit helps. I don't know if you noticed this, but at the beginning of all these videos, I say that I work with technical professionals so they can present more effectively, especially in front of non-technical audiences. And that is an example of a positioning statement. It's my positioning statement. And it's actually something that I learned from a woman named Lois Kramer. She wrote a book called Book More Business. And I read the book, and one tenet that she talks about, especially for people who are consultants, speakers, coaches, that type of thing, is that you should have a positioning statement. Essentially, when people ask you what you do, you can give them your positioning statement, and they then have the ability to figure out quickly what you do, and then they could also then figure out what other questions, if any, they care to ask you. And you want it to be short. My positioning statement, I could say it pretty much in my sleep at this point, and I could say it in less than 10 seconds. And then once you say it, well, then someone can say, "Oh, tell me more," or they could say, "Well, I don't really care about that." But at least you're not going on and on about what you do. I can recall being at a networking event a number of years ago, pre-pandemic, and I asked this person what they did, and they must have spoke for at least 2 minutes. It felt longer about what they did, but ultimately I distilled it down to, "So you're a personal trainer?" And he's like, "Yeah, essentially." It's like, damn, man, you couldn't have said that in a sentence or two. You required all this extra information that he didn't even know I wanted to hear. But if you give your positioning statement in that one statement, well, then I can ask more questions if I'm interested. But if I'm not interested, now I'm just sitting through your spiel about what you do, and I could be annoyed by this, and other people could be annoyed by it too. So I highly suggest developing a positioning statement. Essentially, it's who you work with and what kind of outcomes they can expect from working with you. So from mine, I work with technical professionals. That's what I do with Teach the Geek. And then I work with them so they can present more effectively, especially in front of non-technical audiences. And I add that end part because, especially when you're talking to non-technical people, as a technical person, it's important to make sure that you're putting things in a way that they can understand. I mean, it's one thing to talk to other technical people. You could probably use all the jargon you want and they can understand what you're saying. But with a non-technical audience, especially if they're decision makers, you really want to make sure they understand what you're saying. And that's really the problem that I solve with Teach the Geek, is helping these technical types be able to better communicate with non-technical audiences. So that's what I'm able to communicate in that one sentence. And then whoever I'm talking to, they can choose to ask more questions or not. And I have this positioning statement everywhere. I have it on my website. I say it on this in these YouTube videos. I say it on my podcast. It's everywhere. It's on my LinkedIn profile. Basically, I think I even have it on a bookmark. It's everywhere. It's essentially part of my branding at this point. It's just I really wanted something that was very quick and to the point as to what I do and who I help. And that was really through the help of this woman named Lois Kramer. I read her book, as I mentioned, and it provided that piece that really was helpful in me just getting really clear on what I do firstly, and then communicating it to others. So I highly recommend, if you are a coach, a consultant, a speaker, to develop this positioning statement and basically put it everywhere. I work with whomever you work with, so that fill in the blank. Again, my name is Neil Thompson. I work with technical professionals so they can present more effectively, especially in front of non-technical audiences. I'm the founder of Teach the Geek, and you can learn more about that at teachthegeek.com. Again, that's teachthegeek.com. Until next time, take care and stay safe.